I save the eyes for the very end, because that's where portraits either live or completely fall apart. This entire portrait was drawn with just one pencil. No switching grades, no shortcuts. Someone challenged me to try this, and it forced me to trust my eye more than my tools. At the beginning, I don't chase accuracy. I chase balance. I start with 3 simple lines, 2 on the sides and 1 down the center. These lines can't stay straight. If the head tilts and your lines don't, your portrait will feel wrong no matter how good the shading is. So I let the lines follow the direction of the face. Then I add 2 simple curves, one above and one below. The space between them tells me where the face actually lives on the page. This isn't math, it's orientation. At this stage, I only suggest the features: the eyes, the nose, the mouth. Nothing is final yet. I'm only asking one question. Does this feel centered, or does it feel forced? If something feels off here, it only gets worse later. Now I start adding soft shading, just enough to give the face volume without trapping myself in details. I move from the eyebrow down to the nose and then to the mouth. In the third stage, I'll tell you exactly where I start and why. You'll notice I'm still avoiding the eyes. That's on purpose. You don't need finished eyes to know if a portrait is working. If the face feels solid without them, the eyes will only make it stronger later. I used to rush this part. I wanted results fast. That's when most of my portraits failed. This is the stage where mistakes either disappear or become permanent. And this is why I start with the nose. The nose anchors the face. If it's right, everything else starts to line up. Shading is what actually reveals details. It naturally shows mistakes while you're drawing, so you can fix them as they happen, instead of discovering them too late. This comes from personal experience. It's something I deal with every time I draw. That's why I like adding details during the shading stage. Every time I finish one side, I immediately compare it to the other. Angle, length, distance. Because one small mistake, built on top of another, can ruin hours of work. When I draw the eye, I don't start with the lashes. I begin with a curved crease above the lashes. That line controls the flow of the entire eye. I also take breaks while drawing, even short ones. When you step away, your eyes reset, and mistakes become obvious. Then I draw the upper lash line, following the natural curve of the eye. After that, I move to the lower curve, the lower lashes. At the end, I'll show you how I finish the eye step by step, so it feels balanced and natural. And if you look closely, you'll notice I'm using just one pencil, yet I'm still getting multiple values. As you can see, one pencil is more than enough. You'll see the final result at the end. It's not about the tools. With practice, you can achieve every value using a single pencil. When I draw the mouth, I start with the upper lip. Then I draw the line between the lips and add very light shading to the upper lip first. After that, I move down to the lower lip. Here, I slightly change pressure to create small breaks in texture. That's what makes lips feel realistic. For the ear, I rely on simple landmarks. The bottom usually aligns with the base of the nose, and the top aligns with the eyebrow line. When it comes to hair, I don't chase individual strands. Hair needs direction, not detail. I focus on the dark masses first, then soften around them. Here, I noticed something felt off. The distance between the nose and mouth was tight, so I fixed it early, before it could ruin the portrait later. When it comes to hair, you don't need to draw it strand by strand. Focus on the direction and flow instead. Getting the movement right matters more than copying every single hair. Now, the eyes. This is where portraits come alive. Eyelashes aren't straight lines. They're curved, and the base is always thicker. They fade as they rise. Lower lashes stay much softer than the upper ones. Make sure your pencil is sharp here. It makes a huge difference. After that, I move into the pupil. And this is where focus really matters. This portrait worked, not because of details, but because the foundation stayed flexible from the first line. Quote to the final touch. If this challenge made you rethink how you build portraits, watch this next video. It explains why portraits feel off in the first place, and how to fix proportions before adding details. If you're serious about improving pencil portraits, this channel is for you. More challenges like this are coming.